Today, I just want to share with you on why I joined the military. As you know, so many people today are faced with the challenge of, especially high schoolers, are they going to go into the military? What are they doing after high school? I was once in those individual shoes, and you know, kind of had my mind kind of going that I was going to at one point go to the military. Started as a young kid, had all the type of military toys you can think of, all toy soldiers. That was my thing. And then I got into high school and I thought I was going to go to the military. Living in a military town, I was like, hey, this is for me. This is up my alley. Let's do it. So during my time in high school, I was playing sports and, you know, things kind of changed. But anyway, we're going to hop into why I joined the military. So my first thing is I joined because I wanted a new career. I was at a position in my life where I was working with adult corrections and decided, hey, this job is just burning me out. It's not for me. Excuse me. But I remember laying on my bed. I was living in an apartment in Durham, North Carolina by myself. Didn't have any, I wasn't married or anything. I was a single guy. And I just kind of started getting fed up with working in adult corrections facilities. Well, I was laying in my bed and I heard this voice like clear as day. It said, get up and go join the military. I'm not lying to you. Facts. This is a true story. No lies told here. So I got up and I went to my local recruiting station right there in Durham, North Carolina. And when I went to the recruiting station, I remember going in. I was shy. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I was later on in my life. I was about 24, 23, 24. So again, here I am, an older guy who's trying to make a career change. I go in there. I sit down. I tell them what I'm trying to do. Hey, I'm just trying to go into the military right now. I'm a correction officer, and again, want a new career change. So as we know, there are things you have to do. You have to take the ASVAB, you have to go through, blood work to make sure that you're healthy and all types of stuff. So that was that. So again, first step was new career. I wanted a new career. The second thing is something it was something I wanted to do as a kid. All right. So as I told y'all earlier on in the video, this was something that I wanted to do as a kid. Again, I had all the army toys that you could think of. I played army. I did everything, right? I'm in the woods acting like I'm in Vietnam. Didn't know nothing about Vietnam at the time. Didn't know nothing really about what combat was, what a war zone was. I mean, I knew people died, but again, like I said, I was out in the woods playing army or military, as you want to call it. So, as I got older, oh, let me back up. So, Black Hawk Down was my favorite movie. Still one of my favorite movies to this day. I still think it's ranked number one on all my military movies that I have seen. And I remember watching Black Hawk Down as a kid. It was me and my mom. I know it was my dad in there, but I think my mom and my sisters, we all seen it, was sitting down. And this was in Georgia at that particular time, and we were watching it. And I just thought it was like the greatest movie. I mean, you had an elite force going in, doing some things. Again, I didn't understand at the time what was going on, but I felt, hey, this is what I want to do when I get grown. So again, it was something I wanted to do as a kid. My dad served, my mom's dad served, which is my granddad, he served. And here it was. It was in the bloodline. My dad was a part of, and my granddad was a part of what we call Fort Bragg. We call it the All Americans 82nd Airborne Division. I myself was not a part of the 82nd at no point in my career. I was a part of the 101st Airborne or Air Assault Division, as we call it. So when we talk about why I joined the military, um, some of you are probably asking in this video, man, was it easy? Was it hard? Talk to us about that. So joining the military for me was not easy. So let's talk about what made it hard. What, we're talking about why I joined, but let's talk about some of the other stuff. And we're not going to go too far into depth because I have other videos that I'm going to bring out, such as, excuse me, as I journey to on this career. We're going to talk about the first impressions of boot camp in the next video. So, make sure that you stay tuned. So anyway, joining the military was not easy for me. As I told y'all before, I walked into that recruiter's office, nervous as I could be, older, 24, trying to get a new career. I was tired of adult corrections. Um, when I say tired, I was tired of working in there. To me, I call that a war zone, a stressful war zone. And I seen, I seen some things in there, and yeah, it was time for me to get up out of there because I just knew in my mind and my heart this was not where I wanted to be, and this was not a career for me at all. So, I remember going, like, again, going to that recruiter's office, and, your recruiter, if any of you ever been, or if any of y'all are thinking about joining and never have been, I'm going to give you some tips. So, or talk to you about what I went through. Sorry. So anyway, joining the military again was not easy. I went into that recruiter station. They had me sit at a computer, um, basically taking some practice ASVABs, and got a little score on there. Don't even remember the scores. And this is before they send you to the actual location, which is your MEP station, to take that grid ASVAB. So I was in there, doing the little practice exams, and you got to score a certain number to get to go to MEP. So I remember when I first did it, wasn't high at all. So I think I took that test about 3 or 4 times, and just the practice test at the MEP station. Again, terrible, terrible. So eventually, I figured it out, cracked the code. Was like, hey, I'm going. So I'm gonna crack this code and do what I got to do. So I cracked the code. I'm not gonna tell you what I did, but I cracked the code. Had an opportunity to go and take the official ASVAB at the MEP station. We'll make a long story short. Took the ASVAB for the first time. Got back to the recruiting station, and they told me I didn't have a passing score. Basically, a passing score to get a job, passing score to get into the military. So, you know, I'm in the car crying. Yeah, I'm crying, real tears, not exaggerating, because I knew I wanted to get away from working in adult corrections, but at the same time, I had ambitions and goals to, hey, I got to get in here because I want a new career. Not only that, this was an opportunity for me to live out my childhood dream. Now, everybody has childhood dreams. I believe there are some people who had childhood dreams to go to the NFL. And some are playing in the NFL, and some have never touched the NFL's teams, as I call it. You never had to worry about if you're gonna make the team or get cut because you just didn't never pan out to go to that far up the chain. So anyway, I'm in my car crying and thinking, as I said again in the story in the beginning of this video, that I was in my house, my apartment in Durham, North Carolina, laying in that bed, and something told me to get up and go join the army. Now, at some point throughout these videos, you're going to find out, you know, when something tells you to do something, you got to go do it because something's going to come out of it. So anyway, I take the ASVAB and I failed. This is my first trial. And I'm thinking, man, is this for me? Something told me to go do this. My heart is in this. I want to do this. I desire it. And I believe, when I talk about joining, why I joined the military, um, on my way to joining, I've experienced some failures, which the first one of my failures was ASVAB. Not that little did I know that this ASVAB failure would prepare me for another failure um, at some point in my military career. So sometimes failure isn't bad. Sometimes it's preparing you for the next thing. So you overcome the first thing. So when you fail the second thing, you can overcome. So anyway, I go back. Okay. And at this point, I'm thinking of all the things I need to do to pass. So again, in order to go take the test again, it's basically my recruiters were like, hey, you go take the practice exam again. Again, I told you I cracked that code. So I knew cracking that code was just another drop in the bucket. Time to go do it again. So I got smarter. And when you're older, you get smarter. You don't quit. You don't give up. And some of you out there that's watching this video, you probably taking the ASVAB and you quit because you failed. And again, failing is not bad. It's when you quit and give up is what makes it bad. So I did the unthinkable to crack another code. I went to my local bookstore and bought the ASVAB book. Now, I'm gonna tell a lot of y'all like anybody would tell me. In order to get somewhere, you got to do some things. And one of the things I had to do was go buy that ASVAB book. Now, I remember what was on the ASVAB. They always talk, when a lot of times when you take tests, they always put on there, you won't talk about the test and all these other great things that, government and states and whoever come up with these great ideas, even though at some point in your life, you're going to talk about it. That's just how the cookie crumbles. But anyway, let's keep moving on this great conversation of why I joined the military. Because I know you want to know, did I pass it the second time or did I fail the second time? I'm going to tell you. So I cracked the code, got another date to go take the official test again. But again, I was studying. I was smart. So what I did was I bought the ASVAB book, and the ASVAB book is the test. So I just threw a tip out there to some of y'all that's fishing, trying to figure out, okay, you're going to give us some tips with how we going to get. I just threw a tip to you. So hopefully the tip works. Hopefully you go and do and make your own choice and you get to serve this great country. So anyway, I took the ASVAB book. I started from the front of that book and I went all the way to the back of the book. And when I say I started from the front, I had me a notebook and my ASVAB book. I still have that ASVAB book to this day. I'm not sure if I have the notebooks. I don't know what happened to the notebooks. If I do have them, it's going to probably be when I'm digging in these bins and finding out what's all in these bins when I decide I want to go through them. So anyway, I'm going through the front of the book to the back. I'm reading the instructions. I'm reading the questions. Looking at all the tips that the book's telling me to do, saying, hey, do this, do that, process of elimination. So go math, I go mechanic. Now, I'm not no mechanic, but it has some mechanic stuff in it. And if you want to join the military, learn a little bit of mechanics. It ain't too bad. It talks about pulleys and all this other stuff. Stuff that I'm 24 years old. I've been out of high school for a long time. And in college, we didn't talk about none of that. Okay. Just because the major I chose was not in basically mechanics and all that other stuff. So anyway, make a long story short, because it is a long story. I remember going through that book and I said, okay, I'm ready. Second time I go to the ASVAB thing. Now this time I went, it wasn't like the first time. For whatever reason, I was sitting there with all these other people. I'm nervous, but I feel like, okay, I'm confident. I've done this before. I took this test before. I studied as much as I could. I stayed up studying. So I'm like, I gotta pass. Right? When you work on something and you lose sleep over it, that means you really want it. So you got to get it. So I did it. Took the second time, took the ASVAB, y'all. Yeah, took it. This time we get back to MEPS. So remember, I failed the first time. So I knew what failure felt like. All right, I knew what it felt like. And I just didn't want to fail again. I didn't feel like I felt like I studied my butt off. I did everything possible. Y'all, you won't believe this. I passed. Yo, I passed the second time. And the guy was listing out the opportunities, jobs that I had. And I had a list of them. And I didn't have infantry. And you guys will think that I'm crazy, but I thought that's what I wanted to do. I didn't ask for airborne. I didn't ask for nothing. I was just like, yo, these are some great jobs. He was like, here, he listed out them. Hey, think about them. Let us know what you want. And then it was like, hey, we're going to start the process. Again, next video is going to tell you the process. So basically, we started the process. And all the reason why I wanted to join came back to me. As I'm walking out of there, I'm smiling. happy, got in the car. I'm like, hey, it's time. That's what I said. It's time. And to y'all out there that might be wanting to join, be ambitious, right? Because, like I said, why I joined the military, you see the whole thing. You heard it. Do career, something I wanted to do as a kid. My father served, my granddaddy served. And then I told you joining wasn't easy for me. Not because I couldn't do it, but because of the test. So don't give up. Joining the military and why I joined, as I journeyed on in, came back to me every day. And the journey is just beginning. So I'm telling you guys why I joined, but I don't want you to miss out my first impressions of boot camp, because boot camp is great. It's some stories, y'all. I got some stories for you. But I just wanted to tell people why I joined. I wasn't joining because I was patriotic. No, no. I'd be lying to tell you I joined because I was patriotic. Now, some people, they join because they're patriotic. When I was in, I found out a lot of people joined for college. So everybody's joining for different reasons. I just joined because I needed to get away from that prison, and I knew a new career. Why not? Why not hop on a train to do something you've always wanted to do? That that don't just happen like that. And it happened for me. And it came with a lot of prayer, came with a lot of disappointments. Cause again, when you fail at something, sometimes you start questioning, man, is this for me? Do I need to do this? Because failure is not something we plan, right? I didn't never say when I told y'all why I joined the military, it didn't come out my mouth to say, well, I wanted to fail the ASVAB. You never heard that. I didn't say I wanted to stay up and study. I didn't say that. I said I want a new career. I said I wanted something. It's something I wanted to do as a kid. So I had all my things in a row, and I eventually got to serve in the military. But this is just the first step. And if you ever join and you ever been a part of it, you may be still a part of it. You know the journey. You know this ASVAB gets people up out of there, meaning you don't even get a chance. And there are other things as we go, right? The 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 this they check it, checking your blood work, make sure you don't have no diseases, none of that stuff that would disqualify you. Because joining the military, it's a lot of stuff that disqualify. Like you can get to the ASVAB and you can pass it, but then when you got to go to medical, it can be disheartening because you can be colorblind, you can be not be able to do duck walk. I don't remember ever doing it, but I know we did it. The duck walk. Um, it could be your blood. What's in your blood? If you got that thing in you, you ain't getting in. At the time. You know, so you know, just remember that. If you got high blood pressure and it just seems to not be going down, that can stop you. If you have any types of disabilities going in, mental health is gonna get you every time. So when I talk about why I joined, I think I joined for some great reasons. I don't think I joined because of anything just to join. I had a purpose behind it. I think everybody that joins has a purpose. I think everybody that joins has a purpose. So, you know, um, joining the military. Great question. I want to know why some of y'all join. Why did y'all join the military if you joined? And if you haven't joined and you're thinking about joining, I want to know why you're thinking about joining. Not saying anything bad about it. I just want to know. Maybe you have a better story than I have. Maybe your story is similar to mine. I just want to know. I think it's a great idea to know why other people join, especially when I was in and I learned that people join for college. And the big one I hear now is I'm joining to drive a Hellcat. Hey, I'm not the judge. I'm just saying, why are you joining? Drop that in the links. Let me know because I want to know.